Passé composé part 2. It's a tiny part 2 before we go to a bigger part 3. So let's review what we know so far about forming past tense, passé composé with irregular verbs. What do we always need? How many words does it take to make passé composé? 2. What's the first word? A form of avoir. And the second word, if it's an ER verb, accent aigu on the verb, right? If it's an IR verb, ends with an I. If it's an RE verb, we take off the RE and change it to a U. We're going to look at a few verbs today that are irregular because they don't do this. You don't get to just take off the ending and put an E with an accent and I or U. You have to learn a different form. So that's what we're going to look at right now. So for all the verbs you see here, you still need the form of avoir, just like we've been doing. But for these verbs, like I said, you don't get to just take off the IR and put an I. You have to memorize these forms. So avoir, it's not a regular IR verb, right? So you can't just take off the IR and have an I. You just have to know that avoir changes to this, U. Devoir changes to do with accent circonflexe. Être changes to était, and if they both have an accent aigu, so you pronounce both E's, right? Était. Yes, it's the same word as summer, but in context, you'll know what it is. Faire, fait. Lire, lu. Mettre, mis. Offrir, offert. Pleuvoir means to rain. The past is pleu. Pouvoir, pu. Prendre, pris. Suivre, suivi. Voir, vu. Vouloir, voulu. Remember what all of these mean? I know we know avoir, to have. Devoir is must, to have to. Être, to be. Faire, to do or to make. Lire, to read. Mettre, to put. Offrir, to offer. Pleuvoir, rain. Pouvoir, to be able to, can. Prendre, to take. Suivre, to follow. Voir, to see, and vouloir, voulu. So like I said, they all still use avoir like we've been doing. So they're going to look like this. I took the example of lire here. See how I still did the forms of avoir, but now I didn't just get to take the RE off and put a U. The verb lire changes completely to a new word, to lu. So I have j'ai lu, tu as lu, il a lu, nous avons lu, vous avez lu, ils ont lu. So you're going to do the same with all of these. Form of avoir, and then this past form that you just have to memorize.